Hello, and welcome to Japanese Craft Beer Reviews. Today we're going to take a look at a beer from a brewery which you may not have heard of, which I haven't actually thought of much in the last several years, but their beers suddenly appeared in the store, like 12 of them, and it was quite a surprise. And that brewery is Doppo Beer in Okayama, which is located in the central part of Japan, between, let's say, between Osaka and Hiroshima. And it is, the main company is Miyashita Sake Brewery Company Limited, and they have been producing sake for a long time, since 1915, so over 100 years. And they started producing beer in 1995, and so they claim that they are one of the, what do they call it, the pioneer of craft Japanese microbrewery. On their website, they claim that they're the ninth micro to open in Japan. That's possible. I really don't know exactly. But around 1994, the tax laws changed, and a lot of people started deciding to open microbreweries at that time. It was called the first wave of Japanese micros. And so in 1995, they opened a brewery in Korakuen, and for naming their brewery, the beer brewery, they've been a sake brewery, of course. For naming the beer brewery, they put out a call for names, and they got 3,000 suggestions, and they chose the name Doppo, and Doppo is these two characters here, and this is the character that's used in the name of the country Germany, Doitsu, and the together they can mean independence, Dokuritsu, Doppo Dokuritsu, and so one of the things was that they were trying to put out German-style beers, and so the Do became an important part of their name, and so 3,000 choices, and they chose that one. And their goal was to brew traditional German-type beers, German-style beers. And if you've been drinking craft beer in Japan for a while, you're probably aware that many of the early craft breweries decided to do German style. So all of them made a Pils, an Alt, maybe a Weizen, something like that. So later craft brewers didn't really stick to that line so much, but early ones did. And in fact, beer was started in Japan, by German breweries. Spring Valley in Yokohama and Sapporo in Hokkaido. So a lot of people, even to this day, still associate beer with Germany. So, but Doppo has been around for a while, and I haven't had any of them for quite a while, so I thought I would give them a go. And we're going to start with several beers. I've got, I think, 10, so I will have a playlist of Doppo beers, so give them a look. And here is a beer from Doppo Beer in Okayama, and it is this one. It's called Doppo Omachi Sake Rice Lager Beer. And this is considered a specialty grain brew. It uses sake rice, and the rice is from Omachi in Okayama, and it is polished to 60% or less. So up to 40%, I guess, of the rice has been taken off, and which is the same as which is used for ginjo sake. And if you're interested in different grades of sake, you can find information online about how much of the rice has been polished off. The higher grades have more rice polished off, so it's just the kind of the pure kernel. So a lot of beers in Japan use rice as an adjunct. Many of the major breweries' beers do. If you check their label, you'll see rice as an adjunct. And rice is often a cheap way to lighten up the beer and get a little more alcohol at a pretty at cost, at a good cost ratio. So But this one probably uses more rice than most, and so it's classified as a specialty grain beer. 5% alcohol, and 9 ratings only on Rate Beer. The average is 3.21 out of 5. Untapped lists it as a Japanese rice lager, and it has 205 ratings at 3.36 out of 5, a little bit higher, which is typical for Untapped ratings, a little bit higher than Rate Beer. So 400 yen at the store. They showed up at the Yamaya chain of liquor stores in Japan, along with about 10 other varieties of Doppo beers. And so I picked it up and we'll give it a go. I've had a few and I've rated a few, and I have videos. I have a playlist of Doppo beers as well. You can check those out. So should we try this one? Generally, beers that have sake rice in it do have a kind of sake character to them. We'll see how this one does. Okay, it's pouring out like a kind of light champagne color coming from the glass, but in the glass it is kind of dark pastel yellow, maybe pale gold straw. Very fluffy, spongy, sort of fat bubbled white head. Yeah, kind of sponge-like, sort of clumped together there. All right, the nose. I'm getting kind of like a pilsner sort of aroma, a light malty aroma. Sake notes are not really. Maybe a light sake fruitiness, but primarily a pilsner malt sort of nose. Yeah, okay. Flavor is very similar to the aroma. Seems more like a pilsner to me. There's a tiny kind of floral bit maybe in the background, but it's just slightly overlaid. But the base is kind of a pilsnery malt. Mild bitterness. I don't know the IBUs on this, but yeah. In any case, it doesn't produce a lot of sake character as I thought it might. In any case, so on the label art you see rice, kind of Shiva rice. But yeah, so I don't know. You may want to try this one if you happen to see it. It really does taste like a very lightly floral sort of pilsner, and that is basically it. Okay, so once again, it's called Doppo Omachi Sake Rice Lager Beer, 5% from Doppo in Okayama. That's it for today. Let me know your experience with Doppo if you have had any of their beers, and I wonder why they're suddenly appearing again all over. But anyway, it's been interesting to try. Their core line has been the best so far, the Pilsner, the Dunkel, and the Schwarz, and the other beers, the fruited beers, not quite up to snuff. Okay, that's it for today. Take care. Bye-bye.